Hey everyone, my name is Gregory Hernandez and I'm the producer and director of the documentary 1.5 Million. And I wanted to share an update, some important news, but really an unfortunate update. We have been in contact with the Concourse Multiplex Cinema located on 161st Street near the Grand Concourse and of course Yankee Stadium. We've been in contact with them since February, and now here we are in June. We've been receiving updates, on a monthly basis. And unfortunately, it looks as though they're not going to be open anytime soon. They're still closed due to renovations or rebuilding, something of that nature. I thought for sure they would be open by May, if the latest June, because they have to make a revenue. And since they are still closed, we have now decided to move forward in terms of letting that second public screening in the Bronx go this year. So unfortunately, that is the news. We will not have a second public screening in the Bronx this year. We will now move forward toward distribution and trying to monetize the film, seeing if it's a festival film or a commercial film. I'm tapping into my network. I'm reviewing my strategy in terms of distribution, talking to people in my network to see if we can align ourselves and really contact and network and work with agents, producer reps, and trying to get into contact with distributors to really see if this film can be on a streaming platform either by the end of this year or by next year. It could maybe follow in the footsteps of Decade of Fire and La Madrina, which are other, documentary features in the Bronx. So that's kind of where we're at now. We want to see where this film can go. You don't know what film you have until you get the film done and test it out in the market and see what the response is. So definitely in terms of exploring those particular avenues in terms of distribution, in terms of getting the film bought. We still want to have library rights, and we want to get the film out there to multiple, platforms, whether it's one for a couple of years, then another for a year or two, and then after that maybe self, distribution. But that's kind of where we're at now. We're exploring those options, seeing what kind of film we have. But yes, unfortunately, we will not have another public screening this year. So for those of you who could not make our premiere last month, just bear in mind that soon you will be able to see our movie on a streaming platform, and you will be able to see it in person, most likely within the next year or two, depending on what happens. But we want to make this film accessible to everyone, but we've now reached the business side of cinema, of filmmaking, where you pursue the artistic and the technical pursuit and the making of the film, but now you have to try and make the film, get the film to generate revenue, and ultimately, hopefully profit. So that's kind of where we're at. And it's sad, we only have one movie theater in the Bronx. It's really infuriating. I don't want to say it's just sad, it's really messed up. It's effed up. We only have one movie theater in the entire borough. So similar in the documentary, when we began, there were no bookstores in the Bronx, and then Noel Santos came up and brought the Lit Bar, and now we have other outlets in terms of purchasing, access to literature in terms of purchasing it. We only have one movie theater, and that's the one at the AMC Cinema in Bay Plaza, which is not the most accessible. So it's quite fortuitous that the same one when Barnes & Noble left. It's the same complex where Barnes & Noble had operated and then left. It's the same, area complex where we have that cinema. So I would actually urge everyone, if you are also feeling upset about that, people in the South Bronx, and south of Fordham, I guess, or if you don't have a car or you don't like taking the bus to a theater, and maybe that Concourse Multiplex Cinema was your go-to theater where you didn't have to leave your borough to go to, to watch a movie. I would actually urge you to call our borough president, Vanessa Gibson, and let her know. I understand that our politicians have a lot on their plate, but they work for us. We elected them. So I would say call their office. That's the best way to reach our elected officials. Call them and maybe call relentlessly, call Vanessa Gibson, our borough president, call, I'm going to call Vanessa Gibson. I'm going to call my council member Althea Stevens, who represents me in the 16th City Council district. I'm going to let her know, like, hey, this movie theater by us has been closed for several months, and this is a perfect outlet to get out of the heat, go see a movie, have a nice night out, do something potentially constructive where you watch a movie and maybe that inspires you. But it's just having that access, like, hey, we don't have a movie theater in the area. That's embarrassing and that's infuriating. I'll call Richie Torres, my Congress representative who represents the 15th congressional district. I may call my senator. Maybe I'll call my assembly member, Latoya Joyner, who represents my district. So basically, that's really the update, that we are moving forward, and we're letting that that movie theater go. Unfortunately, it's been months. We've been talking to them since February, like I said, and this was kind of like the last point. Like, hey, if by the first week of June we don't hear back, we're going to have to let that go. And we're not going to pursue other areas in terms of public screenings this year, because that'll take away from what we're trying to do, which is to see if we can monetize the film. And definitely in the future, hopefully, it's either it's next year or the year after, we can do maybe, depending on how distribution goes, we can do some public screenings, obviously at libraries, community centers, nonprofits, on the parks, maybe on a rooftop, a drive-in, things of that nature, where we want more people to see it. But ultimately, everyone will be able to see the movie if we do get it on a streaming platform. And I guess, just looking at my notes here, this is kind of the point where it's the most intimidating as a filmmaker, because now you're going to start to see where your movie is going. You put all this work into it, and for us, for me, it's 5 years, nearly 5 years. So now I want to see what the return on investment is. What kind of film do I have? Can this film, get into festivals and win? And if we don't pursue that, can we just go straight to buying? Can we go straight to distribution? Is there a market for this? Or is it something where it's a commercial film where we distribute the movie? Or is it just a festival film, which is great, but there's not really a huge return on investment. It feels good to go into festivals and maybe win and network and have that experience. But ultimately, I think in the business side of it, you want your film to be able to make money and get on a streaming platform. The other alternative, which is something we may not pursue, but it's the third option, is to self-distribute. Put the movie on Vimeo or YouTube and see if it can get a couple of million views, and maybe a streaming platform will say, hey, you were able to get that on your own? We have like over 100 million, over 150 million. We want your movie on our platform to get it to more than 2 million. So that's kind of where my mindset is. And it's also about enjoying this. Like, I'm very happy to make it to this point and getting the film done. And we have lovely sirens because we're on the concourse right now. But, it's the Bronx. Oh, New York City, I guess. That's kind of where I'm at now. This is the most intimidating part, distribution, doing something I've never done before, trying to shop my film, get my film into the right, hands and right pair of eyes to see it, so that way it can go into the direction that I want, which is to make profit. But really now, it's as intimidating as this is, nothing is more intimidating, in my opinion, than making the movie. Like, I've survived this, so anything that's intimidating going forward, like, bring it on. So that's where we're at. And I hope there are other filmmakers in the Bronx that make, feature films soon. We had Decade of Fire, La Madrina, and now 1.5 million. And I hope my film can follow in their footsteps and get onto a streaming platform. So yeah, and that's really the update for now. So most likely next week we'll begin sharing some production stills in terms of highlighting the people in the movie, so that way more people can follow them and be aware of their heroism and their efforts, their important efforts in the Bronx in terms of bolstering the literary ecosystem here, a literary system here. And yeah, last update, we have a Bronx News 12, or News 12, the Bronx interview this Thursday at the Bronx Library Center, so we're really excited about that. And I hope that BronxNet finally gets us the press coverage from our premiere from last month. So yeah, it would have been great to have a second screening, because the more screenings you have, which we were aiming for 2, that was our business plan. There are 2 movie theaters in the entire borough, so let's screen our movie at both of them and try and generate like hopefully $3,000, and we can put that toward film festival submissions and attending some festivals. Now we have a little over 1,500 from the first screening, which sold out, which that was great. We sold out a theater. That's amazing in the Bronx. But it's still a long journey ahead. Like the next 4 to 5 months are going to be crucial. We're going to begin submitting to festivals in August. And in the meantime, we are fine-tuning our strategy for distribution, as well as submitting to festivals, applying for grants as well. I'm beginning to do that. I've already applied to a couple, and we'll be applying to more this summer. So that's kind of where we're at. It's the hustle as an independent filmmaker. I think anything you choose, you're going to have to work extremely hard and push yourself exponentially to reach your potential in terms of getting your film out there. So anything that you want to pursue that's worth pursuing, you're going to have to work hard. And I'm happy that I put, siren again. I'm happy that I put more than 5 years of work into this project. And yeah, there's still a little bit of fine tuning left. We're going to try and cut down a few minutes and get it under 2 hours. But to make a feature film, I'm really happy. I'm at a really great place in my life, and I can't wait to see how far this film can go, and see hopefully in a year from now, maybe it's won some festivals, maybe it's gotten into some festivals, and hopefully it's gotten distribution and it's on a streaming platform so everyone can see. So that's kind of where we're at. And I thank everybody for attending the screening and following us on social media. Please reach out to us via email at 1.5 million bronxdoc@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram here at 1.5 million _documentary. And feel free to reach out to me personally. I'm the director and producer at Greg Hernandez Photos. That's my handle. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you're looking to make a feature film, I'd love to talk to you, because especially if you're from the Bronx or even uptown, Harlem, Washington Heights, Inwood, I would love, Mount Vernon. I would love to talk to you. If you're black, Hispanic, Asian, white, I don't care what your race is. I would care more about your location. If you're here living uptown, I want to hear from you. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I hope things continue, because right now we have several more meetings this month to talk distribution. So I'll keep everybody updated along with the team. We'll keep you all updated via email and social media. And if you're interested in signing up in our newsletter, which we're going to debut in August, click the link in our bio on Instagram and share your email, so that way you can be on you can receive the newsletter beginning in August. And it'll be a quarterly newsletter. We won't be bombarding you. So that's it. Thank you so much.